Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be ranking video game consoles. Now this includes both modern day consoles and classic consoles from back in the day, and also some of the greatest consoles of all time. Today, here, I've got a list of all of the consoles that I've played over my lifetime. And this can be whether I've owned one or I've played them at a friend's house or just gotten to experience this type of console. So anyway, the way we're going to rank them is we have the elite category, which means obviously my favorite consoles. We have the great category, which means consoles that I very much enjoyed. They weren't like my top favorite, but they were really good. We have the decent consoles, which means consoles that I was all right with. It was pretty okay. And then we have not my favorite, which means consoles that just aren't my favorites. Pretty self-explanatory. And then we have consoles that are dumpster fire, and basically consoles that I did not enjoy at all. So anyway, I have 24 different consoles down here that I've played in my lifetime, and let's get on into it. Also, yes, I don't have a face cam for this video. I'm not going to have them for every video, but it's just not going to be for this one. I think I might just alternate back and forth. It really depends on how I'm feeling. And also, yes, I did switch up the colors here for the tier list. Alright, up first on this tier list, we have the Game Boy SP. Yeah, this thing is pretty dang great. I would play all the classic Pokemon games on this small little thing, and what I love most is that it's like a flip phone. I mean, flip phones are like garbage, but it's the flip phone of consoles. This thing can uh it's so portable, and it's literally like Nintendo's version of a phone. Wait, I'm an idiot. It's not Nintendo, it's Game Boy. What am I thinking? It's Game Boy's version of a phone, and you can put it in your pocket whenever you're not playing it and carry it around with you. It's great. I played Pokemon Yellow on that thing. It was absolutely amazing. It's definitely great. Up next on this list, we have the normal Game Boy Advance. This was called the Game Boy Advance SP. The normal Game Boy Advance, it's not my favorite. The for one specific reason, it was a weird shape, and it wasn't very portable. This thing is simply just the portable version of this. This thing had all the good Pokemon games too that this thing had, but it just didn't have that good portability. Up next, we have the Super Nintendo, the Super NES. This thing was also great. It was basically a better version of the old classic NES. And speaking of the NES, is right here. I'm gonna throw that in decent. The Super NES had my favorite game on there was Donkey Kong Country and also Super Mario Kart. I loved playing on this thing. My good friend, had one of these. I haven't seen him in a while, but hopefully he still has it. I'd love to play this again. This thing was really good. And as for the normal NES, this thing is really vanilla, really basic, really decent. This thing had all the classic games that you could think of. It was great. I love the versatility on it. It's just the Super NES is called the Super for a reason. It's a much better version. Up next, we have the family of DSs. Well, sort of. We have I'm just going to go ahead and rank these three right here. We have the 2DS, the 3DS, and the normal DS. I'm not going to lie, the 2DS, it was honestly terrible. You could play Pokemon games on it, but the buttons were squishy, and this thing didn't fold like these, and folding was what made it good. This thing was just trash. The 3DS, great. I had a 3DS for about a year, and I would grind out all the Pokemon games, all the Mario Karts, and it was a great experience. And the Nintendo DS is simply just decent, man. Unfortunately, a sad story with the original DS is mine got stolen in an airport, so that was kind of a bummer. But I had a lot of fun. Pokemon White, one of the greatest Pokemon games of all time, and I played it on the Nintendo DS. So I loved it. The 3DS, I just had a better experience, and also I didn't get my 3DS stolen. That's why I'm putting it above the normal DS. Up next, we have the Nintendo 64. That same friend that owned a what was it? That same friend that owned a Super Nintendo, he also had a Nintendo 64. This thing was great. My two favorite games on there were Super Mario 64, the Mario RPG game, and Mario Kart 64. This thing was simply just great for Mario, and also Street Fighter on this thing as well. And then we go to the GameCube down here. This thing, in my opinion, was a little bit better. Not quite elite for me, but this thing was also really good. This was the first time I ever played Super Smash Bros. In fact, it was Super Smash Bros. Melee, and I also played a bunch of Mario on here too. In my opinion, the GameCube was slightly better. But yeah, two very, very good consoles. All right, up next we've got it's the two Nintendo Switches. The Nintendo Switch is great. Let's be honest. It's just a great portable gaming system, and you can take it in the car. You can take it on the plane. Hell, you could plug it into your TV at home. I mean, you could do literally everything with it, and you can take the little Joy Cons out. It's like, in my opinion, I think it's the most versatile console out there. The Switch Lite is just decent. It's just a worse version of this. You can't really have that great like TV at home experience that you can with the normal Switch, but this thing is just as portable. And they're both good, very very good. My brother had a normal Nintendo Switch, and it was really good. Plus, the normal Nintendo Switch is getting a lot of the games that most of the PlayStations and Xboxes have, like Fortnite and Apex Legends, and also still have all the good Mario games like Super Mario Odyssey and of course Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and all that. It was fantastic. Also, can't forget Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Up next, we've got the PlayStation 1. This thing was very great. It was very good. I only played two games on there, and one was a NASCAR game. I can't remember what it was, but the other one was a college football game, or a game based around college football, and I loved that game. The controller simple to use, console had a nice design, and it was just a classic experience, man. But then we go to the PlayStation 2. This thing is elite. This might be one of the greatest consoles ever. Uh, it was my first console that I ever owned personally. For me, this was my first ever console that I owned, the PlayStation 2, and there was one specific game that I played more than any of the others. It was NASCAR 2005. I loved playing NASCAR, man. Uh, I also played. Uh, I also played some of the original Call of Duties on here, and it just a great experience, man. I wish I could go back to those days of me having a PS2. I think we still have it in. I think I still have it in my house. I think it's just in my attic, but I may have to go back and get it someday, man. I miss that. Up next, we've got the PlayStation 3. Okay, this is where PlayStation kind of lost it with me. This thing was not my favorite. It was pretty bad. The controller felt clunky. It didn't. They tried to recreate the PS2 controller, and it failed. Like, the controller felt nothing like the PS2 controller. It just felt the controller felt weird. Console had a decent, like, sleek design, but it just didn't run well. I played Minecraft on this thing, and other games as well, but I played Counter Strike on this thing. I remember playing that game a lot as well on this thing. It just didn't hit it for me. It just wasn't that good of a console, man. Now up next is the PlayStation 4, and that's where I fell back in love with PlayStation. This thing was pretty decent. I would put this in great. I probably should put it in great, but the only reason I'm putting the PS4 in decent is because not the Nintendo Switch, much like the Nintendo DS, I had a kind of a bad experience with it. No, I did not get it stolen, but this thing, I got a virus with it, and it just broke. Like, this thing was completely busted. But it was a decent experience, man. It was a pretty dang good experience. It sucks that there wasn't a happy ending for it. I didn't have this exact model for it. I had the slim model, and personally, which I think is one of the better models, other than the PS4 Pro. But yeah, PS4, I loved it, man. I loved it obviously before I got a virus and broke. All right, up next we've got there it is, the PlayStation 5. That is straight to the top elite. In my opinion, it is currently the best console out there, and this is the best console by far right now. Like, it sold out within the first 2 hours of it being released, I think, or something like that. Maybe that's not true. I don't know. But my friend has one of these. It took him like forever to get, but when he finally got one of these, he told me he invited me over to play with him. This thing is so good, man. This thing is lightning fast. Like whenever you're playing online games like Fortnite or Rocket League or Apex Legends or Call of Duty, you're in games like that. It there's barely any loading time, and it takes uh almost like no time to load in. You know what am I saying? It's very good controller. I really like the upgrade from the PS4 DualShock to the PS5 DualSense. I actually have a PS5 DualSense uh controller that I use for playing on my PC. Yeah, it's called the Ultimate Gaming Experience for a reason, you know. Nothing beats a PS5. Nothing is probably ever going to beat a PS5 for the next few years. All right, up next we have the Sega Dreamcast. Ooh, this is like one of the first consoles that ever came out. My friend, he lives about, actually, I'm not gonna say that, but just for privacy reasons. But, my friend has one of these, uh, and we would play Street Fighter Alpha 3 on it. This thing runs pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. This is the only Sega console that I've ever played. I never played the Genesis. I never played the Saturn. But this thing, I loved playing Street Fighter on it, and also there was a certain Mario game we played on this, but I forgot. Maybe it wasn't Mario. I don't know. But it was I had a lot of fun on it. Up next, oh my gosh, this thing, the Wii U, is quite possibly the worst console of all time. The the way you hold that thing and play it is it requires you to hold a gigantic just just a gigantic plate. It's like holding a giant plate or space I a spaceship or something like that. Jeez. It, this thing was awful. The games on it were not that bad. I mean, it had Wii Sports Resort and all that, which was really the only good game it had. But this thing was just awful, man. It was a giant failure. It's just I think between this and the 2DS, I honestly don't know. These are two horrible consoles. My cousin used to own one of these. It was just terrible. Other than Wii Sports Resort, I liked that one, but garbage. But it's okay because we have the original Wii right here, and this thing was decent. I liked Wii Sports on it. We would play that. It also I think had the like a classic Need for Speed game that I would play. That my cousin owned one of these, and also one of my neighbors owns one of these, and one of my good friends does. A lot of people own Wii's. They have uh, a lot of people like to just hook up a Wii to their TV and play a bunch of classic games on there. Uh, the Wii was good. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty good. All right, looks like we have one more family of consoles left, and that is the Xbox family. So I'm I would like to point out I'm a PlayStation guy. I think PlayStation is better than Xbox. I prefer PlayStation over Xbox. That being said, I have played all of the Xboxes. Uh, so this might be a little bit more biased. I'm not sure, but some I'm just gonna go through it. Starting off with the Xbox 360, I never owned one of these personally, but I wish I did. A lot of my friends owned Xbox 360s, and if you were an Xbox 360 gamer, this is quite possibly one of the greatest consoles of all time. It literally, I think it might be the greatest console of all time. You had Black Ops 2 from Call of Duty, uh, you had a bunch of other Call of Duty games. You had that cool Xbox Party Chat feature. You had Halo in its prime, and you had a bunch of other cool games too. It's just unbelievably fun. The controller was also like really well designed too. I just realized the original Xbox is over here. Uh, it was decent. I played the PS1 more than I played this thing. I never owned either, but my same friend who owned a PS1 also owned an original Xbox. This thing was decent. It had a bunch of classic Call of Duties. Uh, I just it doesn't hit the same mark as the PS1 did, which is but it was still really good. I played some of the classic Call of Duties on it. So it goes from the original Xbox to the Xbox 360, but here's the Xbox One. I'm not gonna lie, this is where Xbox lost it, man. This thing is not my favorite. It's laggy, it's slow, it doesn't load fast. It's okay. The Xbox One X is okay. The One S is pretty bad. It kind of hit the mark. The controller was pretty good though. I'm not gonna lie. I like the controller. But I'd much rather have a PS4 over this thing. Like this thing was just. I don't know what Xbox was thinking when they made this thing. Uh, I heard rumors that they tried to make this thing. They tried to make a computer, and this is their version of it. But I'm not entirely certain. I did not like the Xbox One. It was not my favorite. And finally, that brings us to today's Xboxes, the Series S and the Series X. Okay, my brother just recently got a new Xbox Series S. And I'm not gonna lie, this thing's great. I did play on it once. He has Minecraft, he has Fortnite, he has Forza Horizon 5, he has Madden 22, he has Skate 3, which is a classic 360 game. You can get Xbox Game Pass, and also Xbox Live Gold. My brother has Live Gold. He doesn't have Game Pass. Uh, and the Series X is elite, man. The Series X, it's not quite the ultimate gaming experience that the PS5 is. I think the PS5 slightly outcompetes it. I think sports games run better on the PS5, but this thing, shooter games, I think run a little bit better on Xbox. This thing is good for all the modern day Call of Duties. Uh, the Series S as well. My brother also has Ark Survival Evolved. This thing, the graphics on both of these consoles are really good. I like the small design of the Series S, how it's kind of small and lightweight to carry around sometimes if you need to move it anywhere. And the Series X it's a tower, man. It looks cool. I think Xbox got a little lazy for their controllers. If you didn't see my Xbox versus PlayStation video, go check it out. I'll leave a link in the description. Uh, they got a little lazy with the new controllers. I think they simply just copied the Xbox One controller, added a small button, and they just put it on the new controllers. It wasn't that special. But yeah, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, both great consoles. Alright, guys, that is going to be the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what other tier list videos you guys want to see. Obviously, gaming videos coming soon in about a month. And yeah, I will see you all next time. Peace out, guys. And be sure to like and subscribe as always, it's completely optional. Alright. Peace out.